Good evening. Welcome to your Ass Hurts News Network, coming to you live from the tip top of Cock Tower Square with your host, Sergeant Friday. Sarge, how you doing?
Oh, good evening there, Cletus. I'm doing pretty good. I've been taking a lot of time away lately, doing lots of, I don't even know what I'm doing. But that's the best part of doing things, right?
Yeah, hey, that is.
Right? Just don't get arrested. That's all. That's my only advice to people. Don't act like Butthole Betty. I mean, it's one of them things, man. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, right? I didn't even make that up. Some singer, Kenny Rogers, did, but it's very sensible. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and I mean, in her case, the latter part of that lyric is fitting. Know when to walk away and know when to run.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I was on Twitter today, and I came across this fucking clip, and the first thing I thought of when I saw this clip was Butthole Betty on the Sebastian Rogers case.
Yeah,
And here I'll play it. Fucking amazing. These people are just this reminds me of Butthole Betty and the statement from Kenny Rogers.
How are you? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Back up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, man. I got nothing to do. Please back up. Oh, yeah. Back up. Oh, back up. Back up.
I don't know, Betty.
Back up.
Now Betty ends up in court. Poor fucking Betty. I mean, what in the fuck is going on in this world?
I don't watch Duty Ron as a typical thing, but I did check out his stream last night. He did about her and that court case, and I didn't know he had a fucking term for people like her. But I absolutely am gonna fucking adopt it. It's the Jagaloon.
The Jagaloon.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man. Well, there's a woman with no quit, but there is actually a transgender that, so, do that with what you will. But some guy saying, what the hell was that? There was a video meme of Butthole Betty's reluctance to stop doing the bullshit she's doing.
Yeah, that was the personification of her personality.
That bitch was going to yell and scream and take swipes at you all the way to the end. I mean, it's like, what the fuck, man? Wow. So yeah, there's something to be learned there. I don't know what,
yeah.
But, take it for what it's worth, I guess. It's fucking great, man. So I don't know.
I would say the thing to be learned there is instead of trying to arrest the person, just free everybody else and put bars around the fucking building that person is in. Just declare that building a fucking prison from then on.
I mean, you can't. That's the craziest thing about that is nobody did nothing to anybody. This cop was knocking on the door, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was no brutality. There was no screaming. There was no threats. There was no guns drawn. This cop just went up and knocked on the door.
Yeah.
It's like somebody came and took Sebastian, and all of a sudden, here comes Butthole Betty. She solved the crime. She is the fucking intellectual fucking monster that we all should fear. For exactly the reason that I posted for that video. That stupid bitch don't know when to quit.
We actually reached out to one of the companies that was there filming, because there were two different outlets of filming, and the fucking price we got told for the footage. Take a wild guess.
I don't even know.
$4,000 per minute
for their recording they took in that courtroom.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Wow.
4 hours of this shit, and they want $4,000 a minute. And I'm like, you motherfuckers know how priceless that shit was, don't you?
What is that, like fucking 800 and something thousand? How much is that?
Let's see. It's a fucking lot. A lot more than I'm gonna pay. How about that?
A lot more than I would consider paying. Too.
I was there in person.
It would make me want to get off that kind of coin, unless it was she did something bodily to me.
No, I spent enough time in the fucking courtroom watching it go down. I'm good. I don't need to spend the money on it.
What do you think the
Yeah.
outcome is that's going to be?
I think, as with a lot of things, right? Humility and humbleness goes a long way, even at the point where you've pushed shit too far. It's never too late to show a little fucking humility and a little fucking humbleness, a little, a realization of, you, you are just another fucking citizen, and you are withheld within the constraints of the law. I think if that were to be portrayed, then they may go light on her. However, if it's not, which from what I've seen, I don't really see that that's going to be the case, then she may end up in fucking jail for a lot longer than she really anticipates.
Might be a 30-day. She's, it's crazy, man. That's what it is.
It's
It's absolutely insane. And then here's the best thing is that all of that fucking sidebar fucking chaos caused by a group of people that support her, right? And her herself leading the fucking charge. That happens everywhere. It seems like on every fucking topic. It's insane. I'll give people an example. Go into a car forum and argue that this some part or something is better than the other parts that everybody commonly tells you are better. And boy, oh boy, the whole fucking topic will then derange into this fucking personal fucking vendetta.
Well,
finding out where you live.
The one thing I will say that was fucking epic, right, was, and they didn't show this on any of the news broadcasts. I'm hoping that somebody releases the entire fucking footage on some media outlet, because between Court TV and a local news station, they have it well documented. But when her attorney handed it, he said, "Judge, I'd like to enter this as Exhibit 1." And he's got a stack of fucking 4 papers, right? And he goes to hand them to the bailiff, and the judge is like, "Well, has the prosecution seen this?" And he's like, "Not yet." And he's got this little smirk on his face, right? Well, he hands these 4 papers to the bailiff, and he says, "One for the judge, one for the witness, and 2 for the prosecuting attorneys." And it's a fucking printed out copy of her media badge. And the judge was, she was asked, right? I don't remember who asked her, but, where did you get this? And she said, "I made it." And they argued that made her, the press or an investigative journalist. And the fucking judge, his reaction to that shit was epic. He was like, he kind of sat up on the side of his chair, put his hand on his leg, and he was like, so what you're presenting to me is that anybody in this courtroom could go home, print out a media ID, and come in here and present themselves and serve as media, running cameras in my courtroom. And her attorney, I was like, I mean, say yes, because that's technically how it is. And the attorney was like, "Well, no." And I'm like, oh, fuck. It was funny as hell. That judge was having none of it. Yeah, it was crazy. Well, anyway.
Because the best and the brightest. I mean, it includes me. I'll be happy to fucking insult myself. We all end up here doing streams.
Yeah.
Right. What the fuck? Well, today, folks, is Columbus Day, and I wanted to celebrate the occasion with the respect that any crime cartel member deserves, and share a little bit of time with the elected crime cartel person you all call a Democrat candidate for office, Vice President Kamala Harris. I think, in all fairness, we should never ever be closed-minded, and I think we should always give respect on a holiday to others that want to celebrate it with us as a fellow American, right? It's like Independence Day, right? Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I want to share with folks. Let's see here, screen share. Our little minute of time to share that with Kamala Harris. So let's spend a little bit of Christopher Columbus Day with Kamala.
Honor, of course, to be with you this week as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. As we speak truth about our nation's history.
I thought this was Christopher Columbus Day there, Cletus.
Well, I mean, so Google,
is it Indigenous Person Day?
According to Google today, it was Columbus Day.
Okay. Is there a difference between celebrating our arrival in a new territory and then celebrating the people that were already here? Aren't they two different celebrations, or am I mistaken? I just want to be educated. After all, I'm one of them idiot streamers I mentioned minutes ago. So
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with an Indigenous Peoples Day. I think that's fine. That's probably something that should be done, but I don't think it should take the place of Columbus Day.
Oh, so I am not mistaken in that. Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't being critical.
No, no. Today is Columbus
Since
Day.
1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas.
Yes.
But that is not the whole story. That has never been the whole story.
No.
Those explorers ushered.
I think that if you are in this stream and you, like me, are an American, I think we should always be open, right, to new data and information and knowledge, and even being educated, even by people we may disagree with. What is that fair, Cletus?
That is absolutely fair.
That even those we vehemently may disagree with, not like, could even go to the term of hate or sometimes love, that we should, if they have something that can enlighten us to a truth or to some fact, we should be open to that. So let's share our Christopher Columbus Day with Harris.
Ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations.
What? Columbus Day is about destroying tribal nations. Okay, what else does it include, Cletus?
Perpetrating violence, stealing land.
Wait, this is an epic fucking holiday. We're celebrating, okay? We're celebrating doing these heinous fucking things because God knows not a single modern fucking crime cartel hashtag fucking politician would ask us to perpetuate the same kind of destruction on other foreign lands. Right? Only this time, to make ourselves better than then, we don't claim them as our own territory after we kick the living shit out of them. Right? That's the modern man. The difference between us today and mankind hundreds of years ago. The real difference is we've become above it all, and we don't want to keep your land. We just want to bomb you into starvation. Okay, let's see what else we can learn from old Kamala here.
And spreading disease. We must not shy away.
Why would we spread disease? We would never intentionally do that, would we, Cletus? Is there any history of this country spreading disease with the intent to kill? Is there any fucking history to suggest that that's true? What do you say there, Cletus?
Oh, I'd say there's a hell of an argument for that.
I think she needs to wear a mask under this part of the speech, but let's continue, because of course, like you, I, and everybody else, she
doesn't need to wear a mask. She doesn't need to wear a mask. She takes her fucking her 3-day boosters.
No, that bitch is chugging more wine and alcoholic beverages. Ain't nothing surviving that.
From this shameful past.
Whoa.
And we must shed light on it and do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today. It is an honor.
Yeah, so let's make a day where we remember that we did all of these things that you're talking about, instead of honoring people for who they are, not how bad they got fucked. Like, come the fuck on.
Well, I thought it was important to spend the holiday with a person I completely disagree with, dislike, and call a crime cartel member, because the facts show that to be more real than anything else, including that sign in front of her. This is President of the United States. Yeah, it's quite amazing how filthy this country has become in light of nonsense. There we go. Okay, let's see. I gotta go back and I gotta find go ahead.
That's fucking pathetic. Like it.
Did you guys know?
I guess the argument she would make, right, if she had half a fucking brain to put this argument together, and I think an intellectual could make the argument of, so you're telling me that in order to progress we need to accept, own, and reflect upon and adopt back to the times when we were lesser fucking people, or when we did shit in times where there was a need and bad shit happened as a result of it to certain people. But we need to hone in on the past and that negativity in order to progress, because that's
Right.
kind of what she's fucking saying, right? And it's absolute absurdity. It's making
Crazy.
victims out
Yeah.
of every fucking body. It's programming people to be a fucking victim.
And it's causing people to hate America. Look at what kind of fucking losers you are. These are the people you spawned from. These are your roots, you filthy fucks. That's what she's doing.
Yeah.
And that woman's running for president. How the fuck do you get in that position and run for president? I don't understand how you could even be allowed in the country at all.
I think she needs
to me, that's terrorism right there. That's a terrorist statement.
I think she needs
That's
to drop
what a conquering enemy would do to you. Did you agree that that's what a conquering enemy would do to you?
Yeah.
Demean you and degrade and destroy the memories you have of where you live?
Yeah.
That's why I say these people are part of a serious crime cartel. And it doesn't just include child trafficking and pedophiles and drug dealers, but arms dealers and actual nation states are involved in this fucking scam. And she's the new representative that they find, I think, currently. They're all underwater and wondering where the air went. Okay. Unbelievable. Now, Obama came out, I don't know if you're aware, and he gave a lecture to black men. Did you know that happened?
No, I do want to say one more thing about that bitch and what she just said. What she's basically is implying, right? In a nutshell, if you take everything holistically, is if we went back 200 plus years right now, or I'm sorry, longer than that, right? If we went back a really long fucking time to the time she's referencing, what she would have done would have been funnel fucking money and weapons into one indigenous tribe to annihilate the fucking others. And then she would come in and enslave the fucking indigenous tribe. So what she's really saying, if you look at it holistically, is our forefathers were ignorant because they didn't enslave the fucking indigenous people. They gave them fucking land and didn't wipe them off the face of the fucking earth, which is what she would have done. Get the fuck out of here.
That woman comes from a family of Jamaican slave owners. Excuse me. But Obama came out and attacked black men, right, for not voting for a black woman who isn't black, right?
Obama, that's what you're saying. Obama came out and gave a speech
about, yeah, and he actually went after black men. Oh my because God. Believe this is a true statistic, just so you know. This was confirmed by liberal media source CNN, and others have played it. And here's the truth. Kamala Harris has less support from the black community than anybody that ran for president from 1960 forward. So be aware. 1960 forward was the era where they were fighting for civil rights and the right to vote. 1959 and back was when they didn't want anything to do with Democrats. You follow me?
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know is that the first black politicians and judges and lawyers were all Republicans. And that the only reason the Republican Party was formed was to oppose slavery. Now, whether you agree with it or not, but that is the real history of the party. Now, we can look at it over the time period that we're conscious of and see that it strayed quite a bit over time, right?
Yeah.
They let the corporations take them over. And what is exactly happening within the Democratic Party? In a sense, the same thing, except their people are criminals. Not to say that the Republicans aren't involved and aren't benefiting from it, because they are. I think the word politician is highly misused. We should call them crime cartel members. All of them, right? Unless there's evidence to show otherwise. They should all be considered that, because that's what's running our courts. That's what's running our government. That's what's running school boards even, right?
Yeah.
It's insane. Idiots like Butthole Betty.
That's what I was going to say. Kamala really should get rid of fucking, what's his name, Tim Waltz, and she should go enlist the services and the support of Bullhorn Betty and have her as her running mate.
There is. I was going to save it, but I didn't because this is, people are still at the point where it's a conspiracy theory. But there is a gentleman that's coming forward that at the age of 14 had a relationship with Tim Walz until he was 19. An intimate relationship. Yeah.
Mm.
And it's called, I forget the name of the streamer. I'll remember his name. He's a black dude that came out and he predicted 2 months before Biden was taken off of the ticket. He didn't predict it. He came forward and said, I can't tell you my source, but it's from within the Democratic Party and Biden will be removed after the convention. And what happened?
Mm.
So this kid has put forward a whole bunch of news stories from people that trust giving him the information because he will not give up who you are.
Yeah.
And then he does a whole bunch of background verification on why and where he got as best he can without giving away the source. And the guy's predicted so many fucking things. It's just, and it's not because he's like, it's some superstitious thing. It appears that people that have been sexually assaulted in their youth and other things from prominent people go to him.
Yeah.
And he's able to produce the information. And so at this point, that's the accusation from a 14-year-old that was a student of Tim Walz. And that's devastating.
You know what's fucking sad? Is you sit here and you tell me this, and I'm not remotely fucking shocked.
No, and it's sick. It's the sickest fucking thing ever. The sickest fucking thing ever that you would do this to a child. Yeah. There's nothing, I know as a person that was assaulted, molested, abused, abandoned, and I don't want any sympathy for that, but I'm a survivor of that. And I can't stress enough how important those early years of life are on shaping who you become. Yes, you could fight back. Yes. But I'm telling you, that stuff, that formative stuff is impacted. Have you ever forgotten how to tie a fucking shoe, Cletus?
No.
Hey, what do you mean, no?
Well, I will.
No, I'm asking you a question so people understand the point I'm trying to make. What happened to me is as ingrained in me as you to the point where that's why I asked that fucking question. Have you ever forgotten how to tie a shoe? And the answer is no. Why? Because that happened in your formative years.
Right.
Your brain absorbed and committed to that. You follow me?
Yeah.
You lived that.
Yeah.
To go anywhere, you had to put on shoes. So you had to learn to tie them. You weren't excited to do it. It's a different, but that kind of damage is done to a person when the activities are unloving and they're mean, degrading, whatever they may be. The worse they are, you're molested, then that shit stays with you. It does not go away. You can rise above it, but just don't ever forget, folks. It's like trying to forget how to tie a shoe. You can't do it. And when you do this to a young child, okay, that's the problem. If you did it to an adult, okay, it's totally different. If somebody were to kidnap Cletus and rape him,
see, fucking laugh.
It would be.
You're fucking dying. That's funny.
Hopefully, it would be horrible for Cletus. I can't say personally. I have no clue.
No, it would be a whole different game, right? I mean, yeah. I'm a grown fucking adult.
You know right from wrong. Right. You know who you are. You know what you want. You know where you are. You know where you're going, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would be a little different. Maybe we shouldn't be laughing about this, but anyway.
I wouldn't be if you hadn't fucking died. But I know why you're laughing because I'm, and then I started laughing about it. That's fucking funny.
Anyway, I'm not wishing that upon the guy, but I'm just saying. Live through that shit and see. It's just, I'm telling you, it's just like when you learn to tie your shoe. It sticks with you that for your entire life. And yeah, just remember, you walk all day without having to retie your shoes. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But you do revisit that shoe at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's the problem when you get a bad upbringing. You have to realize, folks, that bad upbringing is always with that person. Just like your experiences that you found uplifting and happy and encouraging. And we have that. I have that as well. I have those moments that, those are the ones I concentrate on, right? But when you're young, you don't have many of the moments, right? So, oh, it's a fucked up world, Cletus. What a shame.
No,
What
it's
a shame.
I don't know. I'm still just sitting here like literally complete lack of fucking shock about it, right? I mean, nothing would fucking surprise me with these people.
No.
Nothing would fucking surprise me.
No, nothing would surprise me either. It's fucking crazy. Here, check this guy out.
Kamala chose a white husband. Why can't black men choose a white president? Kamala chose a white husband. Why can't black men choose a white president?
Oh, it's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Brother, that's just at the top, bro. And I gotta get this off my screen somehow.
Oh, that was fucking great.
Listen,
that's a mic drop is all that is right there. Nothing else need to be said. That's fucking funny.
You know, my bookmarks didn't save the fucking what do you call it? All the bookmarks I tried to save. Like I found today, I didn't know when I verified this, but Trump actually leased his plane to Nelson Mandela after he was released from prison. Did you know that?
No.
Nobody could get him a plane. Nobody would make a deal with him on a plane. And Trump gave up his 727. He leased it to Mandela for $130,000. And Mandela toured the United States with that airplane. But he's a racist. Nobody else would rent the guy a plane. Oh man. Oh boy. Anyway.
Oh,
here's what I hope, just so you know. Go ahead.
Speaking of liberal fucking just fucktards. I don't know if 12 gauge is in here or not. I'm not looking at the comments, but I was flipping through the other day and I saw he had a stream up that said where it all started. And I clicked on it and I see fucking John on the fucking screen. And I'm like, what the fuck? Did he come back? And then I see 12 gauge playing a clip from this motherfucker on the news after the hurricane because the road in his fucking subdivision collapsed and his fucking truck fell in it.
No. Really?
Yeah, man. That motherfucker was standing there bitching about it. And he's like, I'm glad I had a 3500 instead of, some little car. And I was like, holy shit, that's fucking John Robbins. That's funny. I'm glad to see he's doing all right. But I was just like, what the fuck? Because at first it freaked me out because I'm like, 12 gauge has brought this motherfucker back. That's funny. But then I realized he was just playing back some old video of John's. But yeah, when he played that news clip, I'm like, no fucking shit. What are the fucking chances of that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, see, what the weird thing is, we know this guy that just suffered a driveway and road collapse in Florida. That's the fucked up thing. But that's the power of the internet. To me, that just shows a good example of, right?
Yeah.
How small of a world we really live in, but in fact, how powerful the internet is as far as messages and memories and things coming out of it.
Well, and it's
I was telling a guy today, I think we're being groomed for the Matrix, where our bodies become living batteries.
Well, it's, I will say this to your credit or your benefit, or your credit. Watching that and instantly recognizing him is sort of proof that you're more memorable as a complete asshole than you are a nice guy.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
All
right, listen, I gotta play this clip too. This is a decent clip. This isn't anything mean or anything like that. Screen share. Let's see which one that is. Yeah, okay. Because I haven't paid a lot of attention to this guy. Just listen to this guy.
All right.
Look at his record. Look at rising take-home pay, a secure southern border, the fact that inflation was low, and ask yourself, does the media lie to you about Donald Trump because they care about you, or do they lie about Donald Trump because they're terrified that he's a bigger threat to their power than anything that's happened in this country's politics in a very long time? I truly believe that I've gotten to know the man, of course, very well personally, so it's a little bit easier for me to say it, but I really believe that he wakes up wanting to make the country more prosperous and wanting to make the world a more peaceful place. That's who you want as president of the United States, is somebody who sacrifices to lead the country, not somebody who's enriched by their leadership of this country. And Donald Trump, I think, has sacrificed more for the United States of America than any president, at least in my lifetime. It speaks very highly of him, but more importantly, it says what kind of a president he is going to be if the American people entrust him with the presidency again. I'd encourage him to do it. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to say you were wrong about him in 2016 or 2020. I did it. I changed my mind, and I'd encourage Americans to do that because he's actually got the plan to make this country better off. Look at his record.
Well, Sarge, if you're talking, you're muted.
For a vice president, I think that's a very impressive. The whole presentation, everything about what he did would be, in other words, he comes off as a qualified vice presidential candidate. Yeah, it's a promotional ad, but you see him in immediate interviews acting exactly the same way as you see there. He's actually very, very polished guy that came from like some fucking outhouse living community in the hills. You wouldn't know it, would you? You might know his sister or something. I don't know.
She might have been the one you spoke of earlier.
Oh my God. Oh,
oh fuck.
Well, you know what they say.
No, I mean, I think, you know, I feel like he sells that better than Pence could have.
And I think he sells it because you really can't argue that he isn't like believes what he's saying. Now he could be acting. I'm not saying he's not acting, but he does come across as being pretty fucking genuine that he believes what he's saying.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I mean, if he is acting, that's what he sells it very well. Like Vivek Ramaswamy, that's one of the things I never liked about him is because he seems like a fucking snake oil salesman, right? Pence never sold me because he seems robotic almost. You know what I mean?
Pence knew he was there for the Baptist vote, and actually Pence was put there. See, a lot of people forget in 2016 Trump was an outsider. And if you go look at his administration, you can see how definitely outside he was because he filled his cabinet with people like Sessions, with Lindsey Graham's, and all these other long-term Republicans, right? And you see the problems that he encountered and how they tried to coup him out. And the Republicans acted like they were on his team. But they could have stopped all of that. They could have intervened and done the right thing. But they themselves, the ones that he surrounded himself with, whether he knew it or not, were the same ones profiting from China, same ones profiting from the Ukraine. Okay. The two he fell out with were the most obvious, John McCain and Mitt Romney. He fell out with those two guys and they all hated each other, right? But the rest of the Republicans that we considered as Republicans, decent Republicans, ended up being no good for him. This time, he's really changed who he hangs out with. The position he's offering Musk to go through the government, and any agency that duplicates the work of another agency will be eliminated. Everything that the people, even at Ramaswamy, the snake oil salesman, remember, the guy didn't get to where he is by not knowing the tricks. Who else to find the fucking tricks that need to be pointed out? Right?
Yeah.
So I think we may have an opportunity here where, I got a little more hope towards Trump. The fact that he's, they've had now 3 assassination attempts. You heard about the one in Florida that they're trying to say wasn't an assassination attempt?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know any details other than the guy was armed and was outside. That's all I know.
He was in line for the Trump rally with what was reported to be a fake VIP pass or press pass, but I think VIP. Okay. And he had firearms on him, and it was stated right in the very beginning he came to kill Trump. It was reported from the police department.
Well, then the question that I have about that, if all of that is accurate, how the fuck did they let him out on bail?
The story changed, so I don't know.
That's the part to me that says it would seem more likely than not that the statement of it's an assassination attempt is not really true, because I can't imagine they would let the fucking guy out.
Well, let me just say though, let's put it in this perspective, in the sense that there's been one gunshot fired at him, another guy armed at his golf course waiting in the fucking weeds, right? And then another guy in line at a Trump rally with firearms. They don't confiscate firearms at rallies because people just don't bring them, right?
Right. Yeah.
So why would that be any less of a fucking consideration for an assassination than the guy that was hiding in the fucking weeds? Maybe he was squirrel hunting. Maybe he didn't know it was Trump's golf course. Maybe.
Well, and I mean that is fair, right? At the end of the day, the shock that came to me wasn't really so much that there was another attempt, but the fact that the same fucking afternoon the guy's walking the fucking street again. I was absolutely blown away by that.
Right. And the reason that's probably possible, and a guy like Koberger can't get out of fucking jail to save his own ass, right? The reason it's possible is because of probably you got to look into the politicians that were involved in it. What judges there? Were they elected judge, a federal judge, a county judge? Who the fuck was it? Who was his lawyer? Who was the prosecutor? Was the prosecutor one of these Democrats that let people out of jail for small crimes?
Was it Florida or was it California? Because I thought
it was California, dude. It was California.
Yeah.
It was California rally.
Yeah.
So that state lets you out of jail if you could steal under $950. They don't even arrest you. That's a law in California. Okay.
Yeah.
Then they just passed a new law: illegal immigrant. You don't need ID to vote, but you certainly need it to buy a pack of fucking cigarettes.
Did you ever?
Right.
Did you ever see that video where that guy came in to that store and he was? I don't remember if he was stealing or if he was gonna rob them or what, but that fucking guy beat the shit out of him with that broom. Did you ever see that? It's been several months back. But I mean, that guy
was it a small store owner?
Yeah, he was a smaller guy, right? He wasn't a very big guy, and the guy that was robbing or that he was beating seemed maybe even homeless, right? I don't know, but the guy was stealing shit, and that guy beat the fuck out of him with that broom handle. I will never forget that shit. And it was in California, and that was the big news about it, right? Was people were like, I mean, I can't fucking blame him. I can't fault him because they, if he didn't, the motherfucker's just gonna, if he got arrested, he'd be right back tonight doing it again because they won't keep him.
Unfucking believable. And that's what you're supposed to do, and that's what they're encouraging law-abiding citizens to do, is to respond with violence. Right? I mean, listen, I was going over a whole bunch of polls and watching a whole bunch of different Hispanic and white and black and watching these streamers and watching these people come out of the fucking woodwork that are just furious over this immigration issue and all that money being given away all over the country. And these people just keep rubbing it in your face. How do you offer a hurricane victim $750?
Yeah.
In today's economy, and then to find out later, but it has yet to be carried by the media, that was a loan.
Right.
You know that?
Yeah.
And that should be like the newspaper should be telling us, because that's the fourth branch of government, is the media. It's supposed to be truth to power. And they're the exact opposite of that. Right. And we've somehow come to accept that as people. It's almost as if we've been, like this bullshit back and forth that they help provide and they help argue on. We need no guns. We need to monitor speech, regulate misinformation on these websites, and all the crazy fucking ideas they have are subjugating ideas. And I don't know how it is that we as a people have allowed our media to take the side of the fucking powerful, when in fact they're supposed to be for the side of the people. Like truth, you know what I mean? Truth to power. That's the whole basis of a media, free press.
Yeah,
that's gone. It's just gone. It's gone. And I don't know how you get it back unless the people themselves see it and somebody leads them that they rebel against them or something. That's what you need. And I don't mean like any kind of violence, but some way to drag your fucking attention from even listening to them or even quoting their tweets. I mean, the bottom line is what, and I'm guilty of it too. engaging in their statements is helping their propaganda move across the web. You know, and we think we're more than confident, and most people see it for what it is, but that's not true at all. Right? So even what I'm doing here tonight and showing you these different things, that's engaging and being a propagandist. I'm doing for even the Democrats, the people I despise, by letting their words come across my stream. Does that make sense?
No, it does. You're bringing a awareness to it.
Right,
even.
that it doesn't deserve because it's not even a worthy topic.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you dumb bitch, you hate America. That person shouldn't even be in the position to say what she said today.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and here's a whole group of people where their party had a man that won with 14 million votes, and they threw him away in the trash can, right? And yet told you he was still good enough to be president, but that his fucking, I don't know, alcoholic fucking running mate is going to be the new president. She's going to take his place on the ticket. I just am stunned that this could happen in America at all.
Well, I mean, you know,
But
we can avoid it, right? We can avoid it happening again by just making the right decision at the on election day.
I don't know if that's true. That's the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Well,
See,
we can give it the best shake, right? And I'll say it like this: what he's talking about doing with Elon, I like that. It can't be the end all be all. He needs to put a whole lot of people in place to do the exact same thing, and then set things up for his successor to take over and have a fair fucking shot at being successful and moving things forward instead of just plugging the fucking holes in the sinking ship.
Right.
But if they're the only fucking two options we got, I'm kind of at the point where, like I said before, many times I haven't voted since fucking 96. I may vote this year.
You should vote. I mean, because you are right. And let me just say something. Part of any of my appeal back aimed towards Trump is because as a human being, hope has been a big thing for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that this guy really does do what he's promising this time, that there's no ambiguity, there's no question. And no matter how loud the media screams and the other opposition makes arguments against what he's going to do, what he can do, he needs to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of bothered me the whole time that he was president, folks. And I got clips. I got a terabyte of data from his fucking first 5 years of being part of the election and then being elected. And it offended me when he said that he wouldn't interfere with the Department of Justice, that their job, and I trust them to do their job. And him, by doing that, is why he ended up in the situation he did with the fake Russian accusations, with nobody being held accountable for that. That was actually a coup attempt. So were the two impeachments. Those were attempts at taking a president out of office, and they were based on abject, provable, absolutely insane lies. The lies that they were accusing him of were verifiably provable to be a lie. Therefore, the action of going for impeachment is a coup. Those people should be in prison for that.
So then, but my question is this, right? You said he is doing things differently this time.
He is. It appears at this point like he is doing things differently by who he's surrounding himself with. And I don't know who's in the background,
right?
But who's in the foreground with RFK Jr., Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, even people I have disagreements with, but as a whole, do have the same value I have when it comes to family and decency and all of that shit, right?
Yeah.
So my point is he's appealing to a wider range and bringing a wider group of ideas around him that are not based on you being a fucking Republican for the last 25 years. That matters to me, to see that change. That right there is one of the reasons it helps give me hope for him, that he's going to do these things that he's talking about doing, that he will right the ship and get these criminals out of fucking government, out of politics, out of fucking judgeships, out of fucking that process needs to start. These people have no place. And Americans, I think if he starts effectively, it may inspire local Americans to go into their school boards and demand that these people resign and new elections be held.
I saw a thumbnail tonight that the date on it just hit me. November 5th is election day, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I saw a thumbnail tonight that said Israel to strike Iran by November 5th.
Right. Well, the leaders in Israel definitely want Trump to win.
Yeah.
The Democrats have pandered too much to their enemy. They're sending all of that money. They released up to $100 billion of frozen assets back to Iran.
Yeah.
Iran is the one that funds Hamas, and they fund Hezbollah, and they fund the Houthis that are fighting Saudi Arabia. So you're hearing about the Israeli war, but that's an Iranian war with Israel. They're just using proxies, and they've got the money to do it because, like Obama did, he released all that money to Iran. And if you go look at the state of the world, Iran was doing, and Hezbollah and Hamas were doing to Israel what they're doing to them now under Biden. Under Trump, they did none of that because Trump wouldn't let Iran have any money. He embargoed their oil. He would stop their oil from being shipped globally. He would cuck them out. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that's why you didn't have the Israeli conflict during the 4 years of Trump. Same thing with the Ukraine conflict. It started before Trump, but that dead stopped once Trump got in there because he stopped funding the fucking war for Ukraine. And then immediately when he got pulled out, that war started up immediately, and they started blaming Russia, and they, how much money they've given them. But these are Democrats that are doing this bullshit. That's why a lot of Democrats. That's why I say a lot of blacks, a lot of Democrats, no matter what, are all seeing that, and they're not stupid.
I just noticed the comment on the screen by Sir Carl.
Yeah, I figured
he answered the call, right? You had said if you've got any evidence of it, bring it forward. And it looks like he may have found some evidence of what he's talking about that he's wanting to bring forward to you.
Well, that's what I said. I bring the topics, even though I fully disagree with the idea to modify a hurricane. I don't think that you can't modify weather at all.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course he incorporated lasers in it.
Right.
But are they permanent lasers, or are they
lasers are particles too, and they interact and excite different things. Remember, it's light.
Yeah.
Right. So you're playing with the atmosphere, and I don't have an issue with them even using lasers.
Yeah.
But where I have an issue is when you have a storm with the ferocity of 152-mile-an-hour winds, and it spans hundreds of miles. I have a hard time understanding where we get the energy to not just create, but direct it. I just don't know where we get the electrical power to do such a thing, because ultimately any manipulation of weather is going to require energy. And to suggest that they created or manipulated the path of a hurricane, I don't suspect that we're anywhere near that ability to generate that kind of energy. But can they localize it? Can they do something over Saudi Arabia? There's a new project. They're going to cut into the Med so it drains into Egypt. Okay. And they're hoping that as that new lake that they form starts filling up, the water will evaporate. It'll impact the local climate around that and create arable farmland again. So I'm not saying that we don't have the capacity to change weather or create new environments. We certainly do. I'm just saying, on the scale of a hurricane, that all the electrical production on Earth combined could not influence that hurricane.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why I say, in that particular topic, I don't really buy into it. Like, they are also, so anyway, just be aware. That's kind of my position on it. I know you see it a little differently, don't you?
No, I completely agree with you. Can they increase the likelihood of it raining as opposed to not? I'd say yeah. I've seen videos about what they do. It's been a minute, but I could see that being the case. I don't know what the fuck they could do to create a hurricane or cause a hurricane to be of greater scale. But I'm uninformed on it. Maybe Carl's video will change my mind.
Just think of the vast amount of waters that you have to warm so that there's a disparity in the atmosphere temperature, right? I'm sure you could do some kind of localized storm over a body of water, but imagine the amount of ships you would have to concentrate energy into an area of water and continue to expand the heat, because it's the heat that gives the storm the energy. It's the warmth from the water rising up. People don't realize if you go up 500 feet, the temperature is much different than it is in your home. Even on a sunny day, go up 1,000 feet. You're gonna be cold as a motherfucker. Okay, that's just the way it works, right?
Yeah.
So how do you generate enough energy over the ocean, be it ship based, land based, or even space based, to create that kind of a disparity and that much water to end up with the final result we see? I just don't think we have enough energy for that. Who knows? Maybe it's easy to do. Maybe it's like, you could break a wine glass with a certain tone.
Yeah. Resonance.
Maybe there's a way to manipulate weather that's as simple as that. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe.
Right. So I just don't know how you take energy out of the equation. So who knows? Because again, the water has to be warmed. That's where you get the energy. The whole storm comes from the surface of the ocean, does it not?
Yeah, it does. It fucking does. I don't know. Maybe we should ask Kamala.
We should ask. Maybe Carl. He's probably got this thought. Maybe the firmament has all these satellites like glued to it or something, and they're just pointing down in one spot and bursting off their lasers, and they're catching all their energy from the sun. But we can't see how it collects the energy, or even the firmament satellites. They're just something we can't observe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because they're not out in space. There's no such thing as space. There's this bubble that surrounds us like a snow globe.
Well, and that's something he just said in his last comment that he's going to have to explain himself with, because he said, I've seen no evidence of space lasers being used. Well, I mean, of course you wouldn't, because there are no space lasers. They're hung off the firmament, right?
Right. But there is no space. Right. It's a body of water outside of the firmament, apparently.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was in one of the physicists that I listened to. I said, no, the only thing we have to do is we have to try to mimic a way of dispersing gases and waters and liquids. Like we can disperse water, right? Stick a fucking ball in the water. You're dispersing the water to the space the ball took, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to figure out how to do that with space itself. You could displace gas. You could put a ball inside of a glass container. You're going to displace the area the gas is occupying. Now it's occupied, but that's what displacement means. So we have to figure out a way, Cletus, and that's probably your project when you meet your cousin up there. Figure out how to displace space.
This comment on the screen, I know it's directed to you, but it says, do you buy Mother Earth needs to be maintained? And Al Gore wants us to respect Mother Earth. I don't think Mother Earth needs anything. I think the planet will fucking maintain itself.
I think we need to do everything in our power to maintain humanity's existence.
Yeah.
And coexistence, right?
Yeah.
And it starts with us. I guess it starts with us voting for Trump again.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, the planet will take care of itself. If it has to fucking eradicate us to do so, it will.
we won't be the first species.
We are not more powerful than the fucking planet. That has been shown many, many, many times, and I think we refuse to fucking see it.
We refuse to accept it. It's almost like now when people are crying global warming, and there's 197,000 glaciers on Earth. Look it up. What do you mean global warming? I don't know. To me, if you said we were down to our last glacier, I'd be, I probably would be fucking dripping sweat listening to you say that. Knowing that there's actually 197,000 of them, right?
Yeah.
But if anybody's alive when we get down to the last one, you're barbecued. I get it. But I mean, if you melt one glacier every day, it'll take you 547 years to melt 197,000 glaciers. I think by then we could figure out a way to create electricity without melting 196,999 glaciers. I think we could figure it out. What do you think, Cletus?
I think by then Ray-Ban would build a fucking UV resistant firmament.
Yeah, good old Al Gore. Matter of fact, another reason that made me a little bit more welcoming to Elon is his honest statements that he's made about the planet and the condition of the planet. He's come straight out and said there's absolutely nothing to worry about when it comes to elements and minerals and materials that we need from the earth to support it'll support a significantly larger population longer than you could even imagine. So he's come out and said that. And then he's also come out and said that it would take roughly 400 years to make life uninhabitable through CO2 in the atmosphere. So that there should be no rush and there should be no demonization of fossil fuels. Okay? But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't look for better, more thorough, more energy efficient ways of doing things. So he's come out, and I don't really, I'm hoping that he's always kept that point of view, but that he's get money to get financing from the global government, the greeners, right? That's where all the money was being given away. And he's a big recipient of that. Remember when they were giving $7,500 per car?
Yeah.
If you bought a Tesla, remember that? That went on for years. So, you know, and it wasn't like he was selling the car at the discount. He was selling the car at full price and keeping the $7,500 on top of it. So, but he was really a globally then. He was a global kind of guy. I didn't really, that's the one thing I never really liked about the guy. Now he comes out saying this, and I'm like,
I think the reason I like him is because he is a fucking horrible liar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he is the fucking worst fucking liar I have ever seen. I saw him the other day talking at some thing where he was presenting the fucking robots that he's built, right? And he was like talking about how much they should cost. And he's like, you know, his mannerisms, his tails were so fucking apparent when he was like, yeah, I mean, they should be 20, 30,000 a piece. And I'm like, you fucking lying bastard. You know good and fucking well they wouldn't cost $20,000 or $30,000 a piece unless $20,000 or $30,000 was the 19 fucking 84 $20,000 or $30,000. Like that's what you're talking about, and you fucking know it. It's like saying the fucking Tesla was going to be the average man's fucking car. Come the fuck on.
Can I just say, I'm glad you brought that up, because I may have said this to you. I don't know if it was you I was talking to about it, but we shouldn't fear the introduction of robots. We should fear the programmers, yes. But the individual robot, with all the skills of a human body, should not be feared or shied away from.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, you could make a flourishing economy. You could make a massive economy.
Yep.
If you give a robot to every baby that's born. And that robot will then carry out, unless the kid's a murderer, but it'll move through society up and down the ladder with either the choices of the individual owner, or because if you study to be a brain surgeon, the robot itself being more accurate, would actually perform the surgery for you. But yet you still could learn to be a brain surgeon and be completely capable of it. But that robot would be the most accurate, safe way to do it. You could be a car mechanic, but the robot physically do, right? You could choose to be a truck driver and this robot. So it wouldn't really matter. What would matter is you would invest in your own education to what level of lifestyle you'd like to live. Fair enough?
Yeah.
You could be the best actor in the world, and it's your robot doing it for you. Completely independent of you. You could be fucking, I don't know, reading a book and the robot's out doing this thing.
Yeah. Well, when that day comes, I'm still going to walk around with a fucking pocket EMP just in the event I ever need to use the motherfucker.
Pocket of what?
A pocket EMP.
A pocket EMP. Yeah, that's a good idea. You can see that. See, Cletus just added to the economy of the future. Yeah. He's got a product he can sell to protect you from rogue robots. Look, see what I mean? What a creative country we have. But there are upsides to it, is what I'm saying. Everybody's always... They've used them thus far for businesses to save money. My idea, though, of them becoming, like a mainstream thing and incorporating them into civilization, I don't think it'd be outrageously hard to do. And I don't think it would change anything but give us more time to be humans with each other.
No, I agree. I think it's a novel fucking idea. I don't know that it's one that'll.
Not in our lifetime. Maybe it'll be 1,000 years from now if humanity survives, right?
Yeah.
But still, it's a fair idea that would put people's hearts at ease and their worries and concerns. And there you go. You just had 4 babies. Look at that. You got 4 robots. You're breeding like a fucking cat. Cut it out. Breed yourself an army of robots.
Oh, fuck,
dude. I'd go to a country where you could have all the wives you could possibly muster. I'd conquer the world in no time. 9-month intervals, but fuck it. Oh, shit. The 15-minute thing is definitely in the works, I believe. Yeah, I'm not too sure how that works, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm also waiting for Elon Musk to make another announcement or slip.
What do you mean in terms of slip?
Well, I think that I've come to the understanding personally, and I don't care if people agree with it or not. I've always suspected for the longest time that the objects that people report seeing, these, not all of them, but the ones that because so many are seen, there's so many pictures are taken and so many occurrences, right? Let's suggest that some of them are actually real craft moving through the sky.
Okay.
Right. And I have the stinking feeling that Mr. Musk, okay, was included in that program and just won't say.
Gotcha.
That he's aware because he's not pro UFO. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He has no evidence of aliens anywhere. And he takes a pretty decent position on Trump does the same thing, just so you know. Trump's the same thing when it comes to aliens. He's not a believer. He's not even a conspiracy theorist. He doesn't buy it. He just doesn't believe they exist, period. End of story.
Yeah.
Elon's the same way. And that to me, and then Trump stood up Space Force. And just be aware that the first leading scientist of Space Force has a patent on a mass reduction drive that eliminates an object's mass to allow it to manipulate space and move through space in the way you're seeing these craft in the sky. The patent is actually available to you on the internet. He's actually, I forget his name. He's a Spanish dude. But he was the guy in charge of Space Force when Trump stood it up in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the Air Force's he's a physicist, aero engineer. This guy's no joke, okay? And he literally did patent this drive. It's called a mass reduction drive. And it uses resonance, frequencies, and it can move in all the ways that you're observing these craft move. So my theory is, based on the data that I've collected, is no, we don't have aliens. And that if any of these craft are actually there, and I suspect that they are, it's because our government or governments, which would also now have to include Elon, because look what he's doing with what is his focus on? Moving through space, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they use these companies so that you as the taxpayer can't do a FOIA on them. That's why they move that stuff off the government books, and they'll use places like Boeing, Lockheed, like they're using Musk to launch all kinds of satellites.
Yeah.
So I suspect that Musk knows what powers these craft.
You should I don't know if you have Netflix, you should look up this show called, I think it is called Space Force on Netflix. It was it's a comedy. Steve Carell from the Fort. I don't know if you know who that is or not, but him and I think Steve it's Steve Buscemi or John Malkovich one is in it. That shit's pretty fucking funny. You of all people would appreciate the fuck out of the humor. Because it's pretty good. Of the thing? Space Force, I'm pretty sure is the name of it. It's a couple of years old, but I don't even know if it still comes on, if they've made more seasons or not. But the shit was pretty funny.
Oh, and it was actually on?
It was on Netflix, yeah.
Space Force, the series?
Yeah.
Space Force, the show. A comedy series. All right.
Yep. Yeah, you need to check that shit out. You'll enjoy it.
All right. Well, look, this was a successful stream to some extent. Some may call it successful. Others, you call it anything you want.
All right.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, you do the same.
Don't get near the butthole. Nothing but bad happens there.
Yeah.
Butthole Betty.
No, I will know when to walk away and know when to run.
Holy shit. You know, she would be best served to be one of those women that would visit Al Bundy's shoe store. It'd be the perfect fucking place for her, really.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's funny. All right, everyone have a good night.
All right. See ya.